Hello, and welcome to Creative Flow. This is the 5th virtual offering of this class. My name is Kate Blair, and I am offering these classes through Berkshire Yoga, Dance, and Fitness. I am really grateful to all of the teachers who are also offering their classes for the wider community to participate during this time. And these classes are being offered freely through the generosity of Berkshire Yoga, Dance, and Fitness and all of the participating instructors. So thank you for joining and being part of this experiment and this experience. And as I mentioned, this class is being offered for free, and really encourage you to participate freely. And if you would like to make a donation to the teachers in studio at this time, you can do that on the website at supportbydf.com. So anyway, thank you again for being here, being where you are, and experiencing this journey of movement. This class is called Creative Flow, as I mentioned before. And originally, the idea for this was to be in the dance studio together in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and be sensing movement as a group, sensing ourselves within a group setting through rhythm and sound and movement, stillness. So this experience is a little bit different in that we are all moving at a distance from one another, and yet we can still bring that awareness of what's around us, what's within us, and the rhythms of other people around us, the rhythms of nature, the rhythms of the neighborhoods or the places where we are finding ourselves in this time, as well as our own inner life and landscape. So if you're tuning in for the first time to this Creative Flow, that's wonderful and welcome. And if you have been joining all along in these classes one by one as they've gone on, and hopefully you're experiencing kind of some of the layers or connections between each class. And also the sense of carrying the exploration that you're doing in the class into your daily life, and vice versa. So in the class today, you can bring any questions or explorations that you might be experiencing in your life to this class. So we're about to get started here with moving. And I just wanted to share before I started the class that just a few hours ago, I found out that a very well-known and well-loved dance artist and teacher passed away. And her name is Nancy Starks Smith. And I had a wonderful experience of studying with her in January of 2017 through a residency she taught. And I know many other people who've been inspired by her as well. Some of my teachers have also been inspired by her. And so I just wanting to honor her spirit through the dancing today, and also through these classes. If you've been tuning in at all before, I've been allowing some of the artwork from my brother Ben Blair to inspire me in my movement. And my brother Ben also passed into the mystery at the end of January. And so I lit a candle over there, and I have some flowers, and just wanted to bring that into the class that today, as well as any connections that you might be feeling in your life, spiritual connections you might be feeling or longing for, or people you might be missing, whether they have passed on into death and into the mystery, or whether you feel just a longing to see people because they're far away, or you're feeling isolated. Just giving yourself a chance, if you are feeling those things at the moment, to acknowledge the longing and the loss in our life, as well as the celebration and the connection that we can experience in different ways, perhaps new ways or unfamiliar ways. And I'll also just mention that I did actually facilitate or teach this class just about an hour ago. I attempted to do it, and I had my computer, so I was just finishing up and the computer battery ran out. So this is the second try, and also just sharing that because I know that these times of virtual learning and experiencing, they don't always work the first time, and we're all kind of working through these challenges, and just want to share that it's part of this process. And so anyway, we'll begin the class movement, the moving part of the class, simply by allowing yourself some time to just check in with your body and your emotional experience at this moment. And you might notice your breath rising and falling, entering your body and leaving your body on the exhale. And just noticing if you have anything that's calling your attention right now, perhaps an injury, or just a weakness that you're aware of in yourself, or a strength that you're aware of, just something that's calling your awareness. And if there's anything you need to really tend to in this class, just taking a moment to recommit to self-care for yourself during the class and beyond in the rest of your life. And as you're breathing, just allowing your breath to come and go on its own time. You might close your eyes if that helps you to imagine you could see within your body, and it's really letting yourself go within to your inner experience, checking in with yourself, and just recommitting yourself to self-care, self-love, and really trusting your own needs and impulses in this, throughout this class, your own needs and desires as you move through the experience of this class. So you can allow your breath to come and go on its own timing. And you can find yourself, perhaps you're already there, but if you haven't found yourself in a comfortable position, whether that's sitting, standing, lying, allow yourself to find a comfortable position that you can just really check into your breath, coming and going. And as you find yourself in a comfortable place, really let the back of your throat soften. Perhaps your jaw, you can just allow your jaw to soften a bit. You can even use your own hands to touch your jaw and just allow the muscles in your jaw to relax. could allow your eyes to just feel that they can relax back into the back of your head. Just soften that experience with your eyes. If your eyes are open, you can still imagine that relaxation. And as you're allowing yourself to tune into your breath, you can continue to shift if you need to, finding more comfort as you move. And allowing yourself to feel the support of the earth, noticing whatever part of you is in contact with the floor or the earth, whether that's your feet. If you're lying down, perhaps more of your body. If you're sitting down, perhaps your sits bones, the backs of your thighs. Just allowing your breath to come and go. And as you allow your breath to come and go, you might just experiment with opening your eyes and still staying connected to your breath and that flow. But allowing your eyes to be open and relaxed. You don't have to be looking at the screen as you're doing this. You can be looking around the space around you. You can also allow yourself to, as you open your eyes, see if you can continue to keep an inner eye on your inner experience of your body. So you might just imagine as if you could see inside of yourself. And you can shift between having your eyes open and your eyes closed throughout this breathing warm-up. So you can have your eyes closed to really tap into the inner experience and help you to relax your eyes back into the back of your head, back of your skull. And then you can open your eyes gently, softly, perhaps halfway even. And just see if you can keep your attention both in the external environment as well as in your internal environment. As if you had eyes to see inside of your whole self. Just notice as you do this, your breath coming and going. Your breath is another link to the inner and external world. So as you breathe in, bringing the air into your body. And as you exhale, allowing your air to relax and release into the space around you. And then as you're breathing in, allowing yourself to bring the external environment into you. And then as you exhale, letting your inner environment come out into the world around you. Just allowing your breath to come and go. And allowing yourself to shift between your eyes open and your eyes closed for just a few more moments to warm up into our breath. Just notice where your breath goes as you breathe in. You might bring your hands to your belly button and just notice how your belly can be soft on your inhale. And the exhale. Letting your body expand with your inhale and contract gently on the exhale. You can allow your shoulders to drop away from your ears if you're sitting or standing. Allow your jaw to be relaxed. And you can allow your eyes to open for this time and allow your breath to continue to come and go on its own timing. And you can just allow your hands to be part of this next part of our exploration. So through this class, we've explored the idea of drawing the contours of different shapes or things in space around us. We have, in the previous sessions of the class, we've explored colors and sounds. We've also explored the ideas of painting or expressing different scenes that we see or hear in the landscape and soundscapes around us. So this time, our focus in this class will be a little bit more on our own inner experience and imagining that we could see or even hear perhaps what's going on within our own body, and sense. So not just seeing and hearing, but sensing, perhaps through touch or other ways. So as you continue to allow your breath to support you, I would just invite or encourage you to use your own hands to explore the architecture of your skeleton. And this can be a nice way to kind of give yourself a little massage. And you can imagine that you are just kind of finding the shape of your own skeleton, which for everyone will be different, through your own touch. So you can do this by using a lot of pressure on your own self, or it could be a gentler pressure, but notice what feels good to you, and just see if you can explore as much of your skeleton as you can with your own hands. And you can start wherever it feels right to you. And you might find that this experiment or experience takes you moving through the space a little bit. But you can go ahead and just kind of see if you can connect to your own skeleton through your own touch. And this is kind of a way of seeing within our own body through our touch. So you could experiment with touching your collarbone and your shoulders and just feeling the bones. You're going to feel your skin and muscles and all of those things that are in between our hands and our bones. But see if you can focus on the experience of connecting with your bones through your own touch. So you could connect through the long bones of your arms. You can notice the feeling in your joints, your elbow joints perhaps. And as you do this, just really notice what feels good, what type of pressure or touch feels good to you right now. Everyone's bones and everyone's experience of touch is different. So you can perhaps observe what I'm doing, but just know that I am offering an idea, but it's not necessary for you to copy what I'm doing or mimic what I'm doing, but you can perhaps get some ideas or inspiration. I wish you were here so that I could also get inspiration from you. But you can just allow yourself to use both hands to give yourself perhaps one hand at a time if that helps you to focus, but just see if you can connect to your bones while also kind of giving your body a little warm-up massage. So connect to as much of your skeleton. We'll do this for a few more minutes, so hopefully it won't feel rushed. You're just kind of experimenting or exploring your own skeleton through your own touch. So you can work with the bones in your neck, the bones in your skull or your face. I think it feels good to make circles, little circles when I'm touching my skull with my fingertips. just experimenting as almost as if you were making trying to make a map by really understanding the shape of your skull and all of your skeleton through your own touch. And again, just doing what feels right through this experience and experiment. You could connect to the bones of your sternum, collarbones, and then noticing the parts of your body that don't have as many bones there, the bones in your rib case, or places where you have to push through more skin and tissue to sense the bones. You might feel the bones within your pelvis, your hip bones, perhaps the bones in your spine through your touch, your tailbone. And as you do this, you can allow your breath to come and go and support you in your movement exploration. And you can also allow yourself to move through the space that you have around you. I'm working through my knee and my lower legs and ankles. I have tennis shoes on, so I'm just gonna kind of give my foot a little wiggle and massage through my tennis shoes. And again, you'll connect to lots of skin and muscles on tissues, but underneath all of that is bones that support us. So just connect through your own touch to as many bones as you can. And as you do that, again, feel free to move through the space around you. Or if you're sitting down and you're comfortable, or lying and you're comfortable in one position, you can also just stay in that place. But you can allow this experience to be a good warm-up for yourself, and also just continuing to check in with how your body's doing, how you're feeling. Maybe you notice that you're sore in certain areas. And also you can just continue kind of investigating the shape, the feeling of your own bones in different parts of yourself. And again, some bones are harder to touch. Obviously, we can't actually touch our bones, but do the best that you can to connect to your bones through your touch. And as you continue to do this, you might just notice if there's areas that you want to go back to, or places where you feel tension or soreness that you just want to give yourself a bit of a massage. That's a great idea. And or perhaps just places in your bone structure that maybe you haven't explored as much before, or just follow your own curiosity and what feels good to you as you explore this process of connecting with your bones. You can allow your breath to come and go, and allow yourself to be supported by the earth and the space around you, whether you're outside or inside. And if there's areas of your bone structure or body that feel like they just need more touch or support, you can go back to those areas. And allow that part of our exploration to come to a close. And just notice how you feel after giving yourself some of that kind of feedback. It's a simple thing that we could do. Any of us could do that throughout our day if we are feeling stressed. Even just for a minute to give yourself a little mini massage could feel really great. And be a good way to connect back into our breath and our body. So this time we'll go ahead and continue to explore our skeleton and our bones, but so we'll do that using the same idea. So you can continue to use your hands to touch your own bone structure. This time we'll move through space a bit, and you can stay where you are if you're comfortable and don't want to do as much moving throughout the space. That's fine as well. But what we'll do is allow yourself, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes and move from the experience of your skeleton and your bones. And we'll just do this for a few minutes of exploring how your bones feel like they want to move. Now, again, of course, we're moving our whole body when we move our bones, but just seeing if you can move from your skeleton and what that feels like from different parts of you. So perhaps in your toes or your ankles, you might see how that experience relates to your knees or your legs, the bones, the long bones in your legs, or your pelvis, your spine, your shoulders and shoulder girdle, the neck, the skull, the elbows, the wrists, the fingertips. So there's lots to explore. And we'll just take maybe 3 to 4 minutes to explore the space around you. You can have your eyes closed. Of course, open your eyes to keep yourself safe if you need to. Just allow this to be a gentle exploration of moving from your bones. You can use your hands to give yourself that touch feedback. And by closing your eyes, you're just allowing yourself to kind of see within is the idea. So we'll do about 3 to 4 minutes of just moving from your bones after that nice massage. Hopefully you feel a little bit more connected to that part of your structure. Okay, and I'll explore with you. So just take about 3 to 4 minutes. Your eyes can be closed for most of this time if that's comfortable for you. All right. And as you do this, you can follow your own rhythm. Allow your breath to support your exploration. And you can just notice how your bones feel like they want to move. So there might be an area of your body that feels like it really wants to explore moving. Just see if you can sense that movement from your bone. And if it's feeling difficult, you can use the touch feedback from one of your hands perhaps, or perhaps closing your eye can give you that sense of your inner self. Just one more thing as you're moving, allow yourself to follow your own inner rhythm as you're doing this activity. You might feel like singing or sounding. Perhaps there's a rhythm that comes through in your bones or a song. So feel free to make sounds or even sing your favorite song if you're feeling like a need for musical stimulation, or just allow yourself to be in the quiet and see what rhythms naturally come from this skeletal skeletal inner exploration. You can allow that part of your exploration to come to a close. It's going to allow your eyes to open. And as you do that, allowing your eyes to open, you can see if you can keep that part of your inner eye on your inner body, even while you're taking in this external landscape, the screen you're looking at, the environment around you. Sometimes it helps me to imagine my eyes just going toward the back of my head, the back of my skull, my throat softening and relaxing. So that I can have my eyes both on my inner body and my outer body, my outer environment, I should say. So as you move, I noticed as I was moving my skeleton that I had the impulse toward the end to shake a little bit. And so I just would invite you to allow yourself to kind of shake that experience out and shake a little bit through your bones in perhaps a gentle way or a more vigorous way, whatever feels right to you, somewhere in between perhaps. You might experiment with shaking the bones in your arms and just letting your muscles be loose around those bones, shaking the bones in your shoulder girdle or in your, there's something going on. Shaking, a little bit of shaking music in the background there. Shaking the bones in your hands, shaking the bones in your pelvis and your legs and your feet. You can also experiment with bouncing, shaking the bones in your skull. You might make some sounds as you're doing this, side to side kind of shaking, or just see where your own shaking exploration goes. But shaking your skeleton, perhaps in gentle ways, ways that feel good to you. You can do this in a seated way, in a lying way, but just kind of waking up your skeleton through shaking or bouncing in a gentle way and waking up different areas and allowing yourself to sound if that feels good to you. So I noticed that if I shake my head, I really want to make sound. sound. So you might just notice if different areas feel like they want to make sounds. Just give yourself a chance to shake through some movements. You can imagine that you're kind of shaking out your emotions, shaking out your stress, or shaking out your tensions. And shaking into the areas of your body that feel like they need a little bit of shaken up and shaken out. And you could experiment with bouncing, but just take this in the direction that it feels good to you to go. Allow your breath to support you. You might just notice the feeling of exhaling as you're shaking it all out. And as you're noticing that, I can allow your shaking to gradually transform into just following a bit of your own needs for perhaps stretching. Just see where that shaking takes you in terms of your own desire for movement. So did a little bit of shaking and what naturally feels good to do after that sort of shaking experience. But find a way to transition out of shaking and into a more explorative movement mode. Until you're ready to come to a stillness, dynamic stillness. Take the time that you need to transition into a stillness, whether you're sitting, standing, or lying. And just noticing how your breath feels and your experience of how you feel after shaking some things out and experiencing that inner and outer eyes closed, eyes open. Just notice where your awareness is. Just take a pause. Okay, so usually I encourage you at the beginning of class to have a journal or some paper. Doesn't have to be a journal, just some paper and a pencil or pen. And I just realized I have done this class a few times now, so I can't remember. I don't think I told you at the beginning of this video to gather those materials. So this is a good opportunity to just practice shifting a little bit. But as you're, if you can just take a moment to go and gather those materials, if you have paper and a pen or pencil or a crayon, anything will do. Just allow yourself to be in this movement exploration experience as you go and do that kind of mundane task of getting a paper and pencil. So allow yourself to really do that with an awareness toward your inner experience and perhaps that inner eye, allowing your eyes to be relaxed even as you go looking for something, allowing yourself to be aware of your breath even as you go gather the materials. So take your time. I'll just give you a couple minutes to get those materials, a paper and a pencil or a crayon or pen. If you don't have that stuff around or you don't have that handy, or it's fine. I'll give you another prompt so that you can still be participating. But if you do have those things, then you could just go take a moment to gather them with the spirit of connecting to your own inner self as you do this simple activity. You also might take a pause to get a drink of water or something like that if you feel inspired. So we'll just take a short little break so you can get some water if you need, and a paper and pencil or pen. Come back in just a moment. I'm gonna follow my own advice and drink water. And okay. Okay, so hopefully you had a chance to get some paper and a pencil or whatever writing, utensil you have. So drink some water. So for this exercise, as I mentioned earlier, I did already teach this class one time, but had some issues with the computer running out of charge at the end. So I did experiment with this once already, and it was really interesting. I'm excited to try it again. So for this exercise, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a drawing of our inner landscape. And don't worry if you don't consider yourself a visual artist. That's okay. This is going to be a different type of drawing. So it's a little challenging to explain, but I'm going to do my best. So, okay. So imagining that you can see within your own body. To do this drawing, we're going to do this drawing with our eyes closed, and we're going to use our non-dominant hand. So if you're left-handed, use your right hand. If you're right-handed, use your left hand. And with your eyes closed. And also without picking up our pencil, or pen. And the idea of this is to imagine that our inner self, different parts of us through our body could speak to what we're going to express in our drawing. And it's not about making a drawing that's anatomically perfect or even close. It might end up looking like a bunch of scribbles, and that's okay. But the idea is that really to walk through your inner experience and allow yourself to draw those parts of you, kind of as if your hand that's going to be drawing could just be speaking for those different parts of your body, speaking for the energy, for the quality of lines or shapes that you're feeling or sensing. So, and some parts of your body might be easier to do than others. but I'm going to let you walk through your own inner self on your own. So just like when we did this touch of our skeleton, and I demonstrated kind of exploring as much of my skeleton as I could in a few minutes, I would encourage you to try the same with your own drawing. So to try to draw a complete picture of your own inner self. But again, this is an impression of it. So don't worry if it's complete, but just allow yourself to go within and to have your eyes closed and your non-dominant hand. So for example, as I'm drawing, I might focus on my left foot to begin with. And I'll have my eyes closed, and I'm just on my paper going to be drawing in my left foot. Right now, I'm sensing, okay, how does my left foot feel? And I might wiggle my left toes to connect through a movement, or circle my left ankle a little bit to just feel, how does my left foot feel right now? And just see if your left foot can speak through that hand that's drawing, speak through the lines, through the arts and imagery. And walk through your body. So then you can do your lower left leg, really listening to that part of you. Perhaps the lines will be shaped differently, or who knows. Your knee, your thigh, your pelvis. Explore as much of your body as you can. And I think I'm going to put a timer on for about 5 minutes, and I'll sit down and do this exercise with you. And so just enjoy the experiment and the experience of it. Don't worry if you're doing it right or wrong. The idea is really just to sense your inner landscape and allow yourself to translate it through drawing in a very abstract type of a way. So again, having your eyes closed, using your non-dominant hand to draw, and really drawing as much of your inner body experience as you can. So it's not about what the drawing is going to look like. It's more about experiencing, sensing, and translating that experience in some way. So it's an experiment, it's an experience, and I hope you enjoy. You can possibly, I originally suggested your left foot. Another place you could start your drawing is your heart. That's where I started when I did the previous class, and that was really interesting. But you might just choose your own place. Where does your attention feel called to? And also just to say that you may experience some painful areas of your body, or as you're walking through this inner landscape, that's okay to just allow your drawing to express whatever needs to come out, and let your experience be what it is for right now. Okay, I'm going to put on a timer, and we'll do this for 5 minutes. So when I put on the timer, you can go ahead and have your pen ready, a pencil ready, and your drawing, and can begin. And see if you can allow your pen to stay on the paper this whole time. And stay very connected to your breath. And draw as much of your inner landscape as you can. And also just allow your pencil or pen to keep moving. Just see if, even if it's small movement, just allow it to keep moving. And just walk through the different areas in your body where your attention goes. Follow that. You might notice your attention jumping from different areas, or it might be a really smooth path. See if you can, even if your attention jumps from one area of your body to another, see if you can, in these 5 minutes, 5 minutes to kind of explore as much of your inner landscape as you can. Again, no worries as to how your drawing ends up turning out. It doesn't have to look anything like a human body. It's just an experiment of allowing your body to speak through this drawing. And allow your breath to come and go. You might notice how slight shifts in your weight. Perhaps if you're sitting or standing or lying, just how that shift, slight shifts in your movement could draw your attention to another area. Remember, if you need to move to bring attention or awareness to a certain area, that's great. It might seem like this is a long time, so if you are feeling stuck, you can allow yourself to go to areas of your body that interest you to draw, perhaps going deeper into a certain spot. And again, no worries about how your ultimate drawing turns out. It's more about really sensing what's within and allowing that to express itself. Okay, and there's the timer. So bringing your drawing to a close. Interesting. Okay, so bringing that drawing to a close, and go ahead and just take a moment to notice whatever it is that you drew. Your eyes can open now, and you can just take a moment to notice the lines, directions, qualities, shapes. And as I mentioned, I did this activity earlier, and my drawing is very different. Both times it was really different. So you might experiment with that in your life this week. Perhaps try this at another time and just see what happens, how the image might be different. So just go ahead and notice how that looks to you, the image, the direction of the lines. And I'll just share with you the example of how my drawing turned out. So you can see it doesn't really look like an anatomical biomedical drawing. This is what I ended up with. And I wish I could see what everyone else drew. Also, just take a moment to reflect on your experience of doing that. I think my experience in both cases, it was an interesting experiment because I noticed that there's certain patterns of tension that I hold in my body and different ways that when I was drawing those areas, I had a different attention on them. And so I was able to kind of notice things that ways that maybe my back was arched in a certain way, or I was holding tension, or I felt, you know, kind of a little bit of tightness in certain areas. And I was just able to be more aware of some of those inner feelings. I think that sometimes we just need different ways to sense and experience our inner landscape. So hopefully this was a fun, one fun way to try that. So I am really enjoying the shift of light going on right now, and this candle glowing here, and the birds singing, and just the kind of shift, the end of the day that's happening where I am. And no matter where you are, you perhaps in a different time of day or different experience in your environment. But just allow yourself to experience the, just gonna allow ourselves in this last little dance exploration, movement exploration, to experience both the inner and the outer landscape. Just allow yourself to shift between your outer landscape and your inner landscape. So you can do that by having your eyes open and really taking in your environment through your eyes, through your ears, through your skin, and through your touch. You could also have your eyes closed, or just really focusing with your eyes still could be open, but you could just have more of an inner focus on your own skeletal structure, your own experience of your own sensations within your body. Could be an experiment of the sounds that you're hearing and really listening around you, but also how your own body might be generating its own rhythms. Perhaps we can't hear what's going on inside of our body, but maybe there's a way you notice when you do movement without music that your body does have rhythms that it generates. Can stop long enough to feel your own heartbeat, perhaps, is one obvious inner rhythm that's constantly part of our awareness. So for this last movement exploration, allow that to be your guide, is exploring your inner landscape and your external landscape, and perhaps shifting back and forth between where your focus is on your own timing, in a way that feels nourishing and helpful to you in this kind of integrating this class experience. And I do have a few instruments that I may play. So if you hear some sounds, you feel free to tune into those. We'll do this for, I think, about 5 minutes again. Just allowing yourself to move from that inner experience as well as your environment, and just noticing what happens where your attention naturally goes. Just noticing how you can integrate your awareness of the environment around you as well as your awareness of your inner environment. And again, some ways to do that are eyes closed and then opening your eyes, sensing your skeleton, and listening to the rhythms within, as well as the rhythms and the sounds around you. Okay, so we'll do this for about 5 minutes and then we'll come back together and close the class. So this will be our last dance exploration for now. And again, you might hear some instruments, possibly. So just take that time to explore your inner and outer environment. And as you do this, you can also consider it a bit of a cool down for yourself. I know we were just sitting in a more still way. So if you feel like you need to do a little bit more vigorous movement, that's wonderful. Allow yourself to follow your own impulses as you explore your inner and outer awareness. You can also return to that original exercise of touching your own skeleton through your skin, muscles, and bones to your bones. Okay, you can allow your dancing to moving, being to come to a closing. Here's that sound again. Thank you so much for joining in this class. And I hope that you enjoyed and you can take this exploration into your daily life of your awareness, both your inner body and what's around us. There's the connection that we began with our own touch. That's always available to us, and we can pause in our day and give ourselves a little bit of a massage. We can connect to our inner landscape and imagine that in different ways. And I hope that you'll try that experiment of drawing perhaps at another time this week, because it's really interesting to see how your drawings might be different or your experience might be different. So again, thanks for joining this class of Creative Flow, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to connecting again through these virtual experiments and experiences. And again, thank you and blessings, and we will connect again soon. Take care. Oh, and I think just ending our class with 3 breaths, if you're still with me. So let's just allow ourselves to find comfort where we are, and just close our class with 3 simple breaths, inhaling and exhaling on your own timing. Thank you again for joining the class, and look forward to connecting again. Take care.